Hi guys, I know it's been a while. Um, I've been trying to figure out how to fit this into my schedule, and I think I got a little bit hang of it. But I just wanted to come on. I know the season is basically over. We're doing the reunions for Married at First Sight. Um, so I just wanted to come on and talk about basically Myrla's decision not to stay with Gil. I know I focus on certain things on the show and I don't review all the couples because I really talk about things that hit hard for me, hit home for me. So I just wanted to bring up Myrla, and I believe that her decision was ultimately a testament to how we should be governing ourselves when dating and, interacting with anyone. Um, I do feel like I said it before. I felt like she was acting during the season, but I mean that's just something that I'm guessing. I don't know for a fact if she was acting or not, but in my mind, for a person to present themselves highly educated, knowing what she wants for her life, having boundaries and deal breakers, it just didn't add up that she would want to entertain a relationship with Gil, right? So in my mind, I had to come up with some conclusion, i.e., acting. But then I also thought about things that have happened to me in my past in different relationships and such, and being entangled with people that I had no business being with, right? So basically, what happens is you meet someone new, you're overzealous, you ignore red flags even though you see them, you kind of don't pay attention to your deal breakers, and you continue this relationship focusing on the positive or the energy that they're bringing you, which is attention, love, and so on, which you think is love anyways, so on and so forth. And you kind of just put your deal breakers and everything to the side, so you're basically settling. And I believe that this was what Myrla was doing. It's one of the scenarios that I do believe, because I have a couple different scenarios, but this scenario is just basically ignoring the red flags and just focusing on what she saw as positive. And that's something that I have done in my past. And ultimately what it does is it you convince yourself that they are a good person and so on and so forth, and that this relationship is for you. And then if you get sex involved, then you're talking about soul ties, right? So now you're taking on the characteristics of them and the things that they like to do, so on and so forth. Example, which is not a bad thing, but an example is her starting to walk Gil's dog and just doing certain things, warming up to him. And I definitely feel like sex played a factor in that, and then just daily being around him, right, as a friend or whatever. So I think that one possible scenario is that sex was involved and she had that soul tie, and then that's where the crying and thinking that this person is for you and that they're so good and so on and so forth came in, because the more that he criticized her, the more that he talked down to her, the more that he broke her down with his destructive criticism. I believe that she started to see things in herself that she wanted to fix. And in turn, she felt that maybe that was something positive from him that was helping her be her best self. Yes, I agree that, being positive is better. But she is who she is. She's vocalizing things that, she's not comfortable with or she doesn't like. And she's talking about things, not people, right? So I feel that it would be taking away from her character, but also the fact that she's talking about things that are pertaining to the show. Production did a very bad job this season, especially with the weddings and the honeymoon and so on and so forth. Everything just seemed very low budget. So for someone like her to voice that, I believe that they just made it seem like she was just being negative about the situation, when in all actuality, someone definitely needed to speak up, and I'm glad she did speak up, right? So I feel like the more that Gil was trying to basically change her, people were loving it. But at the end of the day, like, if you feel like you have to change someone, why are you with them? Wouldn't you want them to be their best self coming into the relationship, and you as well, and not having to work to change them, because there's no guarantee that the person is going to change, and you should never want to be into being something where you have to try to change someone. I guess they don't see the sign on the door that I'm on break, right? So my thing with Gil is that he should have basically avoided, right? Not avoided, but he should have basically led by example. He should have led by example in a way such that, you know, this is positive, daily life, and then she would follow. But instead, he continued to bring up what bothered him and so on and so forth, talking down to her instead of just leading by example. And then in turn, if you lead by example and no one is following you and no one is changing and it's not what you like, then you walk away. Simple as that. But a lot of people on social media, they just wanted her to just take it. Bam, 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 punch after punch. They wanted her to just take it and change, and that was it. And then they were like, oh, they'll work. I think they'll be in a good relationship. It'll work out. But like, why would you want someone to settle? You can see that Myrla is settling. But all the pick-me-shas is just lined up to be with this man who's basically breaking a person down, who basically has a mentality that, that is not fitting of a husband, provider, protector, right? Because he's talking about her behind her back. Any chance he's goofing, he's clowning her, he's blowing up a balloon, and he's talking about this is wrong. Like, there's different scenarios where I wouldn't want a husband who does that behind my back, who talks about me, who doesn't uplift me, who doesn't, lead by example. That's not what I want, right? So I believe that when the cameras went away, that she was able to back up from the situation and really look like, what is important to me? What are my deal breakers? Is this person what I want? No. So I'm walking away. And what we have to understand is that when we're making these decisions, there comes a time where you have to turn off your emotions and use your mind, your critical thinking skills to make a decision and stick in that. And a lot of people's like, oh, she's not showing any like remorse or anything like that. You have to understand this was 4 months later, right? And if her coping mechanism is turning off her emotions to deal with it, that's her right. And I've been there before. Every time that I've ended something with someone, I had to turn off my emotions to let them know this is what it is and just move on accordingly. And a lot of people look at it as being cold or whatever, but you have to take care of you. You are guarding your heart, right? So you're making the best decision for yourself. And that's exactly what she did. She made the best decision for herself. She made the best decision for Gil, because if he's not acting, because I believe there's a certain portion of this he is acting, if he is not acting and he was just so smitten over her and he was so in love after 8 weeks, right? Then basically, I forgot where I was going with this, but basically, I forgot where I was going with this, but I think what I was saying was Myrla, she basically, she had to make a decision, right? She made a decision that was best for herself and best for Gil. And she was saying that he wasn't happy. And you could see during the season, he wasn't happy. He was complaining all the time. If he was so happy, he would not be complaining all the time. And that was her point. And I agree with it. If you don't want to be with somebody who's not happy, so if they're not happy, they're not going to make you happy. So why sit here and settle, right? So she did what was best for herself. She did what was best for Gil because he wasn't happy. And she walked away from the situation. He may not see it now, but he will see it if he's not acting. He may not see it now, but he will see that it was the best decision because he wouldn't have been happy. So basically, if he wasn't acting, he was indeed settling for what he wanted in a mate, even though he needs to level up, right? Relationship-wise, and realize that the woman is the prize and he's not the prize. But that's a whole nother story, right? So I just wanted to come on here and talk about that. I'm going to be more organized going on in the future, but sometimes I have a thought and I'm just like, I just got to get it out there. So I just wanted to put that out there. But anyways, this is Rachel's Truth, and that is it. So, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share this video, and just let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What do you think about this situation? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on Gil? And are you a woman that is in Gil's DMs? That's a question. That's a question for the community. Are you in his DMs? Do you think it makes sense to be in his DMs currently based on what you have seen and watching the show and being maybe newly divorced? Let me know what you think. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.